I know what it feels like to be envious of those people who can just kind of effortlessly put themselves out there, whose first thought when going to a new place or to a new party or meeting new people is, am I gonna have fun and am I gonna like them? Versus, are they gonna like me? Am I gonna be too awkward? What do I even say? Those people who just seem to naturally be outgoing and can make friends with anyone. And not gonna lie, sometimes I am still a bit envious of those people. However, that's only because I'm naturally a quiet person and I kind of love that about myself. But what I can confidently say is that with the 5 tricks that I'm going to tell you today, I can full-heartedly identify as someone who can tend to be a bit more quiet at times versus someone who's shy out of insecurity and can't find themselves being confident in front of people. I wasn't always like this. I used to be very, very shy until I figured out that you can change that at any time if you choose to. Here's how. Welcome back to the Creation of Her. We talk about all things from productivity to feminine energy to leveling up, mindset glow ups, and so much more. So if that sounds like your vibe, I come out with episodes every single week. If you want to hear more from me, definitely follow or subscribe. Depending on where you're watching, this is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify Podcasts. Okay, let's get into today's episode. If there's any one thing I want you to know as somebody who was formerly so shy, and trust me, I get it, is that you're not broken. There's not something special about those other people that you cannot harness. Let me explain. Step or trick number 1 is to reframe the way that you see shyness. Like I said, first you have to remember that shyness is not a flaw. It is simply your brain trying to protect you. Think about it. When you get nervous to talk to a new person, to hang out with a new group of people, you're mostly just protecting yourself from what could be probably fear of judgment, from rejection, because to survive in the wild, we literally needed to be accepted by our tribe, by the people around us, or else we'd be rejected and we'd die. So your brain is naturally going to have those mechanisms that try to protect you, even if it doesn't make sense in the modern world. See your shyness not as something that's wrong with you, but as your brain actually working as a human brain should. And your brain loves you so much that it doesn't want you to be judged or rejected. Maybe in your childhood along the way, people also labeled you as shy. Your parents or people around you just said, oh, she's just shy, or oh, he's just shy, like he'll warm up to you. And as time went on, you began to label yourself as shy. You made it your identity. I'm gonna need you to clear that ASAP. You cannot label yourself as shy if you're trying to get out of it. And in fact, you have the power to label yourself as whatever you want. A label is just a label. I want to invite you to stop seeing shy as an identity and instead see it as a temporary state. Because I'm sure there are people that you are not shy with. And there are people in your life that make you feel more confident or that you simply feel more confident around. So shyness is not really who you are. It's just a temporary state, something that you can work with easily and that you can move through. This way, you're able to take back your power, which has always been yours. And on the other hand, confidence is not a personality trait. People who are confident are not just born being confident. It's either learned really on or it's developed as a skill. Confidence can be lost and confidence can be gained. I will tell you that firsthand. So confidence is a skill that you are going to start building and it is not a personality trait. Once you have reframed what shyness means in your head, we move on to number 2, which is practicing micro bravery, or my favorite way to say it is micro exposure therapy. You are not going to get confident by waiting until you're ready to be or act confident. You're going to have to step out there and take really small, brave actions. I love using the term exposure therapy. When I was in therapy for different fears and stuff, OCD, etc., I used exposure therapy and it was extremely helpful. But once I was done with the therapy, I started to use it in my own life and I introduced it to my friends as well. Because one day I noticed in my friend group that we're all super funny and confident with each other, but when we were kind of in public, one of us would be scared to, let's say, order food or go ask this random person where their outfit was from. So we started being like, okay, exposure therapy. Go up to that random girl and ask her where her outfit is from. It's nothing super drastic, but it's just a mini exposure therapy. And when you word it that way, you're acknowledging that yes, it is a bit difficult in this moment, but I'm doing it for my greater good. And it's kind of a like, well, let's just see what happens. Like, let's just see if something bad happens if I go up to this random person and ask them where their outfit is from, which sounds so dumb when you say it out loud, but it's something that sometimes people are too shy to do. Whereas if you can just see that moment as a little moment of micro bravery or a little moment of exposure therapy, it kind of becomes like a fun little game. And once you do that thing and you see that nothing bad happened, you can do it again and you can move on to an even bigger exposure therapy. I don't know if you've ever seen that trend. It was trendy like, I don't know, maybe a year or two ago, but I think it was called rejection therapy. And this would just be on the higher end, which is something you can definitely do as a challenge with yourself or a challenge with your friends. But basically people would go in public and do things that societally would get them rejected. Like I remember seeing one video of somebody putting a yoga mat on the sidewalk of a busy street and just laying down there. Like it looked super random, but it was part of this rejection therapy and exposing yourself to what could get you rejected and letting your nervous system calm down with it and realizing that nothing bad happened. Other people will like scream in a crowded area or whatever the case, but that is the more extreme extent. You can start just really small, such as saying hi to the cashier, going up to a person you think is cute and saying they're cute, making eye contact with the barista, or speaking up just once in class. All of these tiny moments will stack up, you will get better at it, and you retrain your brain to start feeling okay being seen. Plus, it's honestly like a really fun little challenge once you get into it. Number 3 is focusing outward, not inward. When we feel shy, it's usually because we're also hyper aware of ourselves in the moment. You're asking yourself things like, how do I look? Am I making sense? Am I being annoying? Am I being weird? Am I being awkward? Are they judging me? But I need you to start becoming aware of that internal monologue when you're in the situations. Just acknowledge that you're having that monologue and actively switch it outward. Flip the script and focus on the person or the people in front of you. Ask them questions. Get curious. Ask yourself questions like, do I like them? Am I having a fun time with them? Are they enlightening me? Do I like their energy? Am I comfortable in this situation with these people? Are they my vibe? What are they wearing? How do they look? Not to make it seem like you're better than them and you have this like superiority complex, but just to teach yourself that it goes both ways. It is not normal or healthy to only ask if you're enough. You have to ask if the people that you're interacting with are enough too, because you deserve the best and you deserve to be surrounded in environments that uplift you. That's when your presence and your confidence can naturally shine through. Plus, if what you really care about is being liked, people love when you make them talk about themselves. People love when you put your energy towards them. So that's just another interpersonal hack. Number 4, which is my personal favorite, and I have used this hack since my first day of high school, is role playing. Let me explain. So from pre-K to literally 8th grade, I had the same friend group. We were a group of like 5 to 6 girls. And I was at a really small school, so there was no meeting anyone new besides the occasional new kid that came. So when I went from a class that had less than 100 kids in my grade to a high school that had 1,000 kids in my grade, needless to say, I was nervous. And I had to come to terms with the fact that I might not know how to make friends as well as the other kids. But I don't know where I had seen this or if I had thought about it, but one of the girls in my friend group from middle school was super outgoing. We would go anywhere that didn't involve school and she could literally just talk to anyone. She could make friends with anyone. She was just so outgoing. She was not coming with me to this new school. Let's call her Marshmallow. So on my first day of school, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? All these new people, and I know I want to make friends, but I don't know how. But I was like, you know what? I have seen Marshmallow do it time and time again. You know what? I'm just going to role play as her. So in my head, I started saying, I'm Marshmallow. I'm Marshmallow. What would Marshmallow do because I'm Marshmallow? When I tell you, I think I made 50 friends the first day of school. And throughout high school, I was just able to talk to anyone because I figured out that that trick really, really works for me. And I know it'll work wonders for someone else. But think about someone in your life who you see as confident, as outgoing, who can kind of just talk to anyone and role play as them. It's kind of like using the law of assumption for anyone that's familiar with that. But you're just taking on the role and convincing yourself that you're something that you're basically not. You have to really believe it and really try to act like an actor or an actress in the role. It's not logical. Don't question it too much. Just act. So at the end of the day, new people have no idea what you are. They have no idea how you identify yourself. They have no idea if you're someone who's super outgoing or super introverted. So especially when you're with a group of new people, you can just act however you want to, even though it might be a little nerve-wracking. You can do it. And lastly, number 5, so important, is building self-trust through action. I have realized that I am the most shy and insecure in front of people in the periods of my life when I'm doing nothing hard. Confidence doesn't come from affirmations alone or just role-playing. Genuine confidence in general comes from self-trust. And self-trust is built, literally built brick by brick on the promises that you keep to yourself. If you say that you're going to show up for something, show up. If you say that you're going to practice something, you better practice. Every single time you follow through with yourself, you prove to yourself that you can handle it. Let's say you're going to school or a new office or new job in the next couple of weeks, and you want to naturally feel more confident. What you're going to do is set 3 sustainable and attainable habits a day and follow through with them every day for that next 2 weeks, and hopefully you keep going after that. That will already give you a natural confidence boost, because if you can keep the set promises to yourself, you're going to keep that promise to yourself when you're in the new situation with new people and you want to go up to that person but you're feeling shy, but you tell yourself, okay, this is just a little moment of exposure therapy and I'm going to do it. You're actually going to do it because you you have built self-trust and you know that you're going to do the things that you say you're going to do. When you are someone who keeps their promises to themselves, you simply walk different. You walk with your shoulders back, your face is glowing, you have energy because you know that you can take on life. When you follow through and you prove to yourself that you can handle things, that is literally the root of actual lasting confidence. I hope this helped, especially now that it's back to school season. I know a lot of you guys are students and you struggle with shyness, confidence, meeting new people. I want you to know it may not be super easy in the beginning, but it is pretty simple. You can't overcomplicate it. You can't think that you're broken or different from other people. That's you having an external locus of control instead of an internal locus of control. Internal meaning that you know you can change and you have the ability to do anything you set your mind to. People who are outgoing, people who are confident, we're not simply just born that way. Sure, there may be some factors here and there, but coming from someone who has done a whole 360, I can tell you right now, that's not the case. You can build confidence and completely throw away your identity of being shy if you simply decide. I hope this episode helped you. If it did, definitely make sure to like it, obviously, and share it with someone else who you think might benefit from it. If you do struggle with shyness and confidence, which I'm sure you do if you made it this far, comment down below when you feel the most shy and when you feel the least shy, just because I'm curious. Definitely subscribe to hear more from me. I'll wait. Done? Okay. My socials are linked down below. I love talking to you guys, and you guys can stay up to date with me there. And I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye!